Welcome, fellow amulet holders, to episode 2 of the Ninja Panda Chronicles. I am your bard for the evening, Dorian Blade, and I just want to give a great big shout out to everybody that has provided commentary and feedback on episode 1. You guys are fantastic. The praise has been glowing, and I just want to thank everybody. It really helps to kind of want to do episode 2. In fact, I kind of fought doing extra episodes this week, mainly because we had the update announcement that went out last Friday. We are going to talk about the update because it did drop today, and we're going to cover the new characters available in the update, Cruelle and Soleus. But before we do, if you'd like to provide feedback or chat with me about the show, you can do so at my Patreon server, at my Discord server. So if you go to discord.me/Dorian Blade, then you'll be able to talk with me and chat up not only this game, Dragon Champions, but also other mobile games or console games or PC games. So that is one way of getting a hold of me. And if there's a way, if you would like to help support the show, you can do so by going to Patreon, which is at patreon.com/Dorian Blade Gaming. And it would be really appreciated because it would help keep the show going and help get a full subscription to Podbean for the show, rather than being limited to the 5 hours a month that you get as part of the free subscription. So that's my plug out of the way early. I know you guys want to get into the content, and I don't want to take up a lot of your time with anything self-effacing. So let's jump into the news of the week, shall we? Because that is... Update 1.1 dropped today, and this update was huge. So in this update, we got our first seasonal event, Pumpkin Hallow Days, and that is part of the new game mode tournaments. So every day you can fight with other players in 2 to 3 day tournaments and receive generous rewards, including those ever important skill scrolls. And it's nice. There was some initial feedback on the tournaments where you were going to be able to buy tickets for the tournaments, and the community kind of got up and was like, this is a really bad idea, and explained it to the devs, and they listened. And in less than 24 hours, they're like, you know what? We're not going to do it. Now, unfortunately, it is enabled for this first tournament, but my understanding is that the devs have said that they are going to be shutting it off. The news panel was removed from the game. No one used it anyway. There was a new hero announced today, Cruelle. There's a little bit of controversy around here that we'll go into a little bit later. But basically, her hero stones are going to be obtained in the unique event, the Pumpkin Holidays tournament, and the mission 3-6 in the Invasion of the Demons. They've also changed the hero stone drops in chapter 3 and 4 of Invasion of the Demons because of Cruelle. Let's see, they added rewards for the 25th guild member in guild quests and raids, which has bitten me more than once, which really stinks, so I'm glad that they fixed that. Let's see, players can send messages in chat from level 7. When you summon a new character, each time you will receive a special offer for the upgrade. All restrictions have been removed, and for those players who have missed the offer, we'll figure out how to return the offer in one of the next updates. That'll be nice. I hope they return offers that were spawned by the system. For example, I didn't buy the Freezard offer, and I kind of regret it. I'd like an opportunity to buy the Freezard offer, but I don't want to buy it at my current level. I kind of want to be able to buy it at the level that I was at. But we'll have to see what they decide to do with that going forward. One of the things I know a lot of people were complaining about was the enemies on floors 9 through 12 of the tower. They have weakened them just a little bit. Now, the tower is one of my favorite game modes. It does take a lot of time, especially if you're going to run it twice. But there are some fantastic characters in the Tower Store. It's going to be one of those nights, folks, so strap yourselves in. So you can get Snorri, you can get Venomate. There's a couple of others that escape me off the top of my head, but those are the two that I'm currently going after because I'm on the Demon's Progression guide from medatho. It turns out, by the way, my apologies. I kept calling him medatho last week, and he actually prefers it be pronounced medatho. So the A is a long A. So my bad, medatho. My bad. Let's see. Event chests are now going to cost 400 Drat coins instead of 500. And then for all players, this is really nice. And I kind of wish I'd had the money to drop on this. But for all players, they have restored the double first purchase bonus of Drat coins and added them a confirmation window so that you're not going to miss a better deal. So if you bought the 100 the first time and basically got $200 worth of Drat coins for $100, they have added that back. So if you're a spender and you want to spend that money again, I mean, basically you're going to get $400 worth of Drat coins for $200. That's a pretty phenomenal deal, and I think is very, very new player friendly. Because they did it also for some of the lower, they did it for all the lower tiers as well. So if you only want to drop, $5, $10, $15, or $5, $10, $20 on the game, you could do that a couple of times and get those bonuses. They did squash some bugs in this one. So they fixed the bug with completing energy quest for viewing ads, which I can confirm they have fixed. I've seen an issue. I need to report it to John though. That when you go and you say watch ad, and you click watch ad, it'll tell you got to watch the full ad. You got to exit out and do watch ad again. So I've seen some weird UI flow with that. I'm not sure if they're aware of it, so I need to pass that along. There was a bug where 2 regeneration effects would restore 40% of health instead of 20% of health. That has now been fixed. They fixed a bug in Wonder Lula where she would deal damage twice, deal twice. I don't know if this is damage twice or 2 times damage with her second ability. Fixed a bug where some players weren't able to complete the tutorial. And then there were tons of minor bug fixes and improvements. There were some balance changes. They changed Revol so that his Bloodlust passive ability, and that guy's an amazing character, by the way. So he now deals 20% instead of 25% more damage for each stack of bleeding on enemies. And then Soleus, who I'm super excited to see come out, they've already decided to change his ability and drop his heal from 550% from 600% to 550%. So that'll be nice. Healers in this game are really, really powerful. I mean, when you run into a double tank, double heal team in arena, I just keep want to hit refresh and bypass them, or find somebody that may be just a few ranks lower so I can try to jump around them, because that's just horrible, especially if it's kind of a dodge mechanic. So we did get the new hero Cruelle today. Her campaign event, there was a little bit of an issue with it when the update dropped. The second tier of the event was not giving out hero shards. So they fixed it within like 15 minutes, and kind of as compensation, they gave out 7 Cruella shards for anybody that had logged in after the update went live until they did the hotfix. So there was like maybe a 15-minute window, and in that 15-minute window, well, let's just go straight to John's own words here. John said, "Dear champions, regarding the 7 shard issue, we would like to explain the situation. When the update was released, we found a bug that on the second Battle of Cruelle event, players did not get any shards but should have gotten 7. We've made a patch in 15 minutes and fixed the bug. After that, we sent 7 shards for players who were online for that 15 minutes and potentially could have this issue of not getting 7 shards. Just a few players, plus or minus 300, got 7 additional shards because they had not started to play Cruella event and get 7 more at the second battle compared to others. Currently, we can send 7 shards of Cruella to all players, but still there will be some players who will get 14 instead of 7. We can't exclude them from getting another 7 shards because of technical limits. We hope that it's not a huge problem because Cruelle shards can be obtained not only via event, but via Demon's campaign and via tournament, which has a minimum reward of 5 shards. So everyone will unlock her. It's just a question of amount of time. Thank you all for understanding, and let's close this issue. We're very sorry that this situation happened, and we'll do everything to avoid it in the future. For now, please let us fix all the bugs with latest update and focus on game development. With love, the Dragon Champions dev team. And so, caveat, full disclosure here, I did benefit from this. I did not do this. I had not done the second event of the campaign, or the event. I had jumped in and then saw some people going, oh, hey, this thing's bugged. So I didn't do it. And I was a recipient, one of those, plus or minus 300 that was a recipient of these shards without having done the second event or the second tier of the event. So, I was thankfully able to unlock Cruelle at tier 6 instead of tier 7. And this kind of made a big to-do on the Dragon Champion Discord this afternoon. There were a few players that were kind of upset by this, and a lot of us, even those that didn't get her extra shards, kind of felt like this was a big to-do about nothing because she's completely farmable. She is going to be available through the tournament. And, there's a week where you can, if you power up enough, you might be able to finish tier 7 anyway. So, yeah, while I was a benefit of this, had they decided to take away those shards, I'm perfectly fine with that. But, I would expect them, then you got to consider if they take away the shards, then you've got to think of, who, all the resources and the gold and the ability mats and the gear that would need to be rolled back. What happens, could there be a chance of losing any runes you may have put on her? Which, by the way, there is a bug with her with runes. If she has runes attached, she will crash the game if you try to do her ultimate reflections ability. So if you have runes on her, don't do that. You've probably already seen it. Sorry, too late. If not, until they fix it, don't put runes on her or don't do the reflection ability. And so I played her a bit today in the tower mostly, and I'm not super concerned about it because the reflection ability in any other mode is probably going to be almost a non-factor because it starts with 2 energy and has a total of 5. So you're basically waiting until her third turn to activate that. And that's a long time in arena. So unless she's really, really fast, you're just not going to get those off, or she gets protected. Like if you have a fast Kinley on there, or a fast Kyra that can get her special ability off, or her ultimate off to shadow people. So unless you're blocking her, that reflection is probably not going to play a huge effect in the fight. But, I can see where having that crash is obviously a bad thing. So now that we've talked about Cruelle, her event, which was kind of fun, I'm not going to spoil the story for anybody. It was okay. It was nice getting some more backstory. One of the things I do enjoy about Dragon Champions is the story in the game. And maybe I need to devote some time to that at some point to kind of discuss the story for either those that, don't care to follow along in game, but would kind of like to know anyway, or those that just kind of want to know what's going on. So leave me a comment and let me know if that's something that you would like. So let's go ahead and talk now about her abilities. So Cruelle's first ability is called Healing Darkness. Now, everything that I mentioned here is at max level. So take these numbers, and realize that you're not going to get this out of the gate, but you will get it at max ability. So her first ability, Healing Darkness, deals 255% magic damage to an enemy. If the enemy is a demon, she will heal herself and summoned reflections for 70% of the damage dealt. Her special is I Am the Night. It has a cooldown of so it starts with 2 energy, has a max of 3, so you can use it second turn. Deals 330% magic enemy to 330% magic damage to an enemy. If an enemy is a defender, he will gain invisibility for 2 turns. Calls to assist a reflection if he's alive. So if you've got a reflection and you use this ability, they will assist, which is really nice, depending on who may be on the enemy team. And so that leads us to her ultimate, which is Create Reflection. It starts with 2 energy, but it requires 5. It will summon a reflection of the target enemy hero with 70% health and shields, 70% damage, and 75% speed. You can only summon one reflection at a time. So this is nice if you want to, let's say you want to add another Kinley to your team and you've got a Patriarch key. Or let's say you've got a Kinley and you want to reflect the opponent's Patriarch key. You want to add another Kyra to your team or a Venomade. I mean, just the possibilities are endless. And while, yes, it does only have a percentage of the base stats of what the enemy is, it's still really nice to get that sixth character, because everybody who's played, obviously, you get Rantha and Battle Poo. Even though Battle Poo doesn't hit hard, having that extra character, especially one who taunts like Battle Poo, is really, really nice. So I overall, well, let me go into the Bound by Shadows real quick before I give you my personal take. So this is her passive ability. At the end of her turn, if there are 3 defenders on the battlefield, all allied defenders get a tenacity increase for 1 turn. If there are 3 healers, all allied healers gain cheat death for 1 turn. If there are 3 tacticians, all allied tacticians gain haste for 1 turn. If there are 3 warriors, all allied warriors gain counterattack for 1 turn. If there are 3 rangers, all allied rangers get an accuracy increase for 1 turn. And if there are 3 mages, all allied mages gain invisibility for 1 turn. This is really, really nice. And it kind of forces you to really study your opponent and figure out what they've got. And that can help you determine what to bring on your side. Because if they have, let's say they have Mortha and Sinjil, right? And so they've got 2 healers. Well, you can bring a Mortha or Sinjil or Aurelia on your side, and suddenly all your healers are going to gain cheat death. So this is really nice. It makes for some interesting team compositions based upon kind of what your opponent has, and I think it makes her kit extremely interesting. Overall, I give her pretty high marks. I think that she's going to be a great character, and provides a lot of bonus to any team, and she's going to fit in really well with just about anybody. I mean, she really feels very plug and play. I don't see an issue where she's going to not be a benefit. I mean, obviously you need to have her brought up and matched with the rest of your characters, but I think that she's going to be really, really good. Now, just off the top of my head, looking at this, I kind of want to give her a crit chance, crit damage set, make it a speed primary on Northeast, and the reason is primarily for that first ability, Healing Darkness, because if you're going up against any demons, so I mean, it's off the top of my head, Kira, Venomate, Puncherface, and she does her basic on them, she's going to heal herself and her reflections for up to 70% of the damage she has dealt. And her magic damage is pretty good. I don't remember it off the top of my head. And unfortunately, med-Ah-tho doesn't have her in beadc.info yet, which is the site that I use for all character stats for characters that I don't have unlocked yet. It's a great site. He's got a lot of guides. He recently added a Panda progression guide. We went over the beginner's guide last week, but he's got a demon progression guide. He's got a Panda progression guide, which I'll probably go over in future weeks. But he also has like all characters and runes with some rune suggestions and a tier list. That site again is beadc.info. That's Bravo Echo Alpha Delta Charlie.info. And that is an absolutely wonderful site. I'll have it linked in the comment selection below for those of you that are watching on YouTube. So one of the new game modes that was released as well is tournaments. So here is what the release notes were for tournaments. This is a new game mode available for players level 30 and up. Tournaments will be active all the time with a number of attempts of 5. One ticket of the tournament is restored every 30 minutes. Additional tickets can be purchased. The purchase price has not changed. 100 drac coins for 5 tickets. This caused some dilemma Friday when they announced announced the tournaments. When I read through this, I was like, "Oh, this is bad," because this basically makes tournaments nothing but whales, right? And those that can afford to just keep dropping drac coins and drac coins and drac coins, especially when you look at this brand new hero, number 1 in the tournament, is 80 shards of her hero stone, and that's a lot. And if you calculate the amount of energy it would take you to farm Demon 3/6 to get 80 shards of her, 100 drac coins per ticket refresh doesn't start to sound too bad, especially considering how those energy refreshes build up and the node refreshes build up. So I haven't completely run the math, but I imagine over a 3-day period, you're gonna spend a lot more drac coins trying to get 80 shards than you would just refreshing the ticket. So, raised concerns with Play Quantum and talked to John the Guru about it. And at first they were like, let's wait and see what happens. Let's just see what goes on. And I was like, you know what? That's fine. My concerns were obviously whales are going to be able to climb higher. Tournament should be, in my mind, a tournament should be skill-based, right? It should kind of be a roster check, obviously, but it should also be a skill check of who knows how to play their team better. And we'll get into the tournament structure a little bit later, but one of the things that they've done is they've kind of said, here is the kind of format of the tournament that you've got to follow. So to me, it becomes not just a roster check, but also a skill check of how do you get your character, the basically the predefined characters to work together to beat the other predefined characters that your opponent has to use as well. So I was not a fan of somebody just being able to buy extra tickets, because that makes tournaments pay to win, and that is not what a tournament should be. You might as well just say, hey, here, give me some cash. If they just want to say, look, give us 1,000 drac coins and I'll give you 80 shards of Cruelle, I'll be like, well, look, here's 1,000 drac coins. Don't waste my time trying to have to play other people. So they did originally say, look, let's see how it goes, and then we'll reassess. And I was like, you know what, that's fair. At least they're listening. But then less than 24 hours later, they came back and they said, oh, hey, you know what? We've thought about it. We're going to disable ticket purchases, and then we'll reevaluate as time goes on. No, unfortunately, when the update came out, the ticket purchase is turned on, but they're supposed to be turning it off. I'm not sure if it's tomorrow, the day after this recording, or if it's going to be in the next tournament. We'll have to see. The tournament duration is going to be 2 or 3 days. Right now, it looks to be 3 days, which is fine. I have no problem with that. I have no problem with tickets refreshing every 30 minutes. Obviously, those that can be on more frequently are going to be able to get higher. One thing that you can do to kind of mitigate that a bit, I guess, is do your 5 attacks. Wait 2.5 hours. Do 5 attacks, wait 2.5 hours. So for those of you that play Marvel Strike Force, it's very similar to blitzing, where you can blitz every 2 hours. Well, you can do 5 attacks every 2.5 hours here, to climb in the tournament. This first tournament was a little bit more difficult to get into at first, but like I said, we'll go over that after we go through everything that's left in the update. So only live players will participate in the tournaments. They'll get points for victories. It looks like you get 20 points per victory, and you lose 18 points in a defeat. And there are no battle timers, which did cause issues, which we'll get into here in a little bit. And then at the end of a tournament, players will receive a reward depending on their placement. And then to participate in the tournament, players need to build a team that meets the requirements and then go through a qualifying battle with the team mirror. Qualification ends 1 day before the end of the tournament. After that, you won't be able to join in. All tournaments are divided into several tier groups. Players with level 30 won't fight against level 80. It is 5 different level tiers. And it also looks like every tournament shard is capped at 300 players. So that's not bad. And you're going to be playing against players within your own level. If there are 5 different tiers, so I'm thinking 30 to 40, 40 to 50, 50 to 60, 60 to 70, 70 to 80, which makes it, relatively fair. I'm level 49 right now, so I'm probably at the upper end. So this one, and I'm ready to probably in the next tournament we'll jump to the lower end of the next one. We'll have to see how that goes. But then in some tournaments, you will get hero stones for heroes that are currently can't be obtained. The first one's in the next 2 weeks. Obviously, this is from their notes on their Discord server that dropped last Friday. So we did get the tournament with the new update on today, August 30th. So I'm actually enjoying tournaments. I know a lot of people have had some issues with them. There are some questions on tournaments, on how they're structured. But first, let's go over this current tournament. In this current tournament, the initial requirements was you had to have Mortha, 2 pandas, and 2 goblins. Now, that creates some challenges, to say the least, because 2 of the most popular pandas out there are Kinley and Patriarch Key. Patriarch Key may very well be the one of the best, if not the best, characters in the game. And when you pair him with Kinley, I mean, it's just unstoppable. I mean, you're especially when you're going in with with goblins, and those goblins, even if you have, like Pigwald or Major Shot, who does AOE, Old Lore does decent damage, they're still not going to get through a dodging giant panda like Kinley. And then when he's getting shields dropped on him from Patriarch Key, it's just a timeout waiting to happen. And then to get in, you had to take in, do your qualifying match, which was a mirror match against what you had. So, like, my team was Kinley, Master Duo, Pigwald, Old Lore, and Mortha. Now, I was able to beat mine. It took me some time by my getting down basically their DPS and then, basically hitting auto. But the question becomes, was your qualifying team used as your defense to, for the rest of the tournament, or does it go based off of your last successful win? I don't think anybody really knows. Part of me hopes it goes based off of your entry into the tournament, but that does cause some issues because they changed the requirements. And the requirements were originally, obviously, Mortha, 2 panda, 2 goblin. Well, it became Mortha, 1 panda, 1 goblin. And once it became, that with any 2 players that or any other 2 characters that you wanted, it made the fight that much easier. In fact, after they dropped it, I took Old Lore and I took Master Duo out of the squad. So I had Mortha, Kinley, and Pigwald, and I added Snorri and Kara. And I'm like, well, this is just a cakewalk because those guys are top tier characters. And they do great AoE damage, and they're going to get around a lot of these tank healer combos. So it's just, it can cause problems if there was if they used your mirror match team to create your defense, and then you're in a shard where they flip the switch. So you may be fighting people that have, 1 panda, 1 goblin, Mortha, and 2 really good DPS, or you may be fighting against Mortha, 2 panda, 2 goblins, and obviously there is some mismatch there. I'm hoping that when they made that flip, they didn't allow anybody that with the new Rex fight against anybody with the old Rex, because people with the old Rex, outside of whales or beta players, are going to be at a serious disadvantage. But overall, I like the fact of the tournament. I used to play Magic the Gathering. I used to go to tournaments where you basically buy your deck, and, you would have to use a specific expansion. For example, back when I was playing one of the newer expansions that had come out was Ice Age. You had to, you bought your starter deck, and then you bought 2 expansions of Ice Age, and that's what you played with. So basically, everybody had the same core cards to play with, and this is kind of the same thing. Everybody has the same core of what they can play with. It's all dependent upon, I hate to say kind of quote unquote luck of the draw, but it depends upon the power of your roster. And obviously, if you're broken up into different tiers, hopefully you're fighting with people that are in a similar power level than you. Now, obviously, those that may have whaled out and bought shards may be at a lower level with a higher roster. Fine. Look, I may be stating an unpopular opinion here, but my personal belief is that whales deserve to use their money to beat up on other players, right? That whales should be allowed to, or not be allowed, but they should be able to have better rosters and occasionally beat lower rostered players that may be in the same level range. That, let's be honest here, guys. This is relatively a free to play game. I mean, yes, we're all watching ads, which they're making ad revenue on. Let's not lie to ourselves, but relatively free to play game. And so, whales do fund the game, and, we should probably be encouraging them if we want this game to have some longevity. So that is not an issue for me. In fact, I like it because I think it creates a challenge. Like I said earlier, it's a skill check, right? What 5 can I bring in based off these requirements that can be your 5 that you had to bring in also based off these requirements, expecting us to be, maybe plus or minus 3,000 in power. So I think it makes things more interesting. I think it makes things more challenged, but at the same time, I see issues with it, right? The issues that I see, obviously the big one at first, and this has kind of been resolved, is the ability to buy extra tickets. I really wish that had not occurred during this tournament. I think we're going to see some skewed numbers because of that during this tournament. Que sera. But it does create an uneven playing field for those that can either A, spend more money, or B, be online more often. And that kind of leads me to the second qualm that I have with tournaments, in the fact that it really does reward those who can be online more. I work. Right, I work from 7 to 8 o'clock in the morning till 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I don't really have time during the day to sit and play video games. My job would really frown on that. But somebody who has that free time can kind of cakewalk through the tournaments. There are, unfortunately, we've seen this in. I think it was an issue in Contest of Champions. We know it was an issue in Marvel Strike Force, where people will basically pay other people overseas to play the game for them while they are sleeping or whatever, and just kind of give them their login information. I hope this is something that Play Quantum is thinking about and going, it's kind of odd that this person's attacking, every 2.5 hours over a 24-hour period, because either A, they're not sleeping, or B, they're paying somebody else to do their account. And if the login IP addresses vastly differ, so let's say it's somebody from the USA from the hours of 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., and then it's somebody in, say, some Eastern Asian country, say Taiwan, right? And they're logging in from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. I would hope they'd be able to track that and go, you're not being completely honest here. I do worry about tournaments and the integrity of the game, but that's also, having been a long time Galaxy of Heroes player, when they introduced tournaments around the launch of the Rogue One characters from the movie, there was just rampant cheating. It was so bad. It was so bad. So whenever I see tournaments, I immediately start to cringe a little on the inside, and I start to go, this could wind up being really, 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 really bad. Let's see. I want to talk about now a little bit of some more character information. So I did mention that we would be talking about. Oh shoot, guys! I am so sorry. I lose a little bit of track sometime. I want to talk a little bit now about, I had mentioned that we might be doing it a little bit later on in the, maybe in another week or so. But since we are currently only around 35 minutes in or so, I want to take this time to talk about the Demon's Progression Guide. And this is a guide that was created by med-Ah-tho, and it is available on beadc.info /demons-progression. Or just go to a site and then go to guides, progression, and then you'll see the Panda Progression Guide and the Demon Progression Guide. Now, I am following the Demon Progression Guide because there are 3 characters on here I absolutely love using, and that's Tromgar, Kyra, and Snorri. I have neither Puncher Face or Venomate unlocked yet, though I should hopefully have Venomate unlocked relatively soon since he's a tower character. But the team is going to be... it's an AoE nightmare, very difficult to get to the individual members and deal with them. At max skill, Tromgar taunts turn 1 and begins his stunning counterattacks, which is really nice. I recently updated Tromgar's abilities, and I think of all the orcs, he's the one that personally I think you max his abilities out quickly, especially Shield of the People, because he will be able to taunt turn 1, which is huge for Tromgar, because having to wait for him on turn 2 is just it's horrible. And I watch like Snorri die because Snorri is such a glass cannon. It's not funny. But he also gets that counterattack on Shield of the People, and that counterattack uses his basic, and he will gain, I believe at max level it's 25% chance to stun the opponent, and that is crazy insane. So you do want to run Tromgar in the leadership position here, because he should be taunting almost constantly, and you want that bonus potency that he gives all orcs when he's in the leadership position. Let's see. Before his taunt is over, Kyra has made the entire team invisible. After that, an astounding amount of AoE damage pours in from all 4 damagers and clears the enemy team often before they can do much else. So part of the reason each character here is so important to this team is Tromgar is one of the best tanks in the game. His basic attack has a chance to stun enemies and completely ruin their day. His taunt and Kyra's invisibility will give both give him counterattacks, and on this team, Tromgar is countering almost 100% of the time. Next is Kyra, who is potentially the best individual character in the game as of 1.0.5. In 1.1, I think even maybe in 1.0.5, and I think med-Ah-tho would agree with me here. I think Patriarch Key has a solid chance at taking that best individual character. It may just be a toss-up where we just kind of go, they're both in this God tier or S+ tier, depending on what type of methodology you want to use. They're both so fantastically good. She hits hard on her own, but when paired with Venomate, she hits very hard. She also makes the entire team except Tromgar go invisible and makes Tromgar counterattack. Characters that are invisible cannot be counterattacked, negating enemy Tromgars. Next is Venomate. Venomate on his own is just okay, but paired with Kyra, he becomes a powerhouse. He can poison enemies and hit them hard with direct attacks. Next, we've got Puncher Face. He's a utility character on the team. His AoE ability, Earthquake, damages all enemies and, at its final skill level, inflicts taunt on them for 2 turns. This ability effectively negates enemy taunters by making the entire enemy team taunt. Lasting 2 turns, this can be a momentum swinging ability. I also believe that, obviously I don't have Puncher Face right now, and if anybody out there does have his max ability, can either confirm or deny this, let me know in either the comment section or message me on Discord. But if he applies taunt, it's probably going to turn people uninvisible, really negating Kyra on the enemy team. So then Snorri. And again, I'm basically reading this all right from the page, adding in my own flavor, but a lot of it is basically just med-Ah-tho's words. So why put an Order human on an otherwise clan's team? He's just that good. And he really, really, really is. The team is focused around mass AoE damage, and no one does that as good as Snorri. His Berserk Stance ability gives him additional 40 speed, which is nearly a full set of green 2-dot mods with matched possible speed stats, and a 25% higher crit chance. His AoE ability puts bleed on every enemy for two turns, and then even if Snorri and Venomate don't kill the enemies, the DOT, which for those of you that may not be familiar with the vernacular, DOT is damage over time. HOT is heal over time. Ticks often do. So the guide structure, the guide is broken down into levels 20, 25, 35, 40, 50, 60, and a bonus section for 65 plus. At each milestone, he talks about arena, clan missions, order missions, and he doesn't go over demon missions because typically your arena team is going to work well there. And then for each raid team, and then he discusses raid teams for each phase. He does have a skill upgrade priority list for every character at the end of the guide. So let's jump right into level 20. So at level 20, you just unlock guilds and the progression farm can begin. At this stage, obviously, your hero pool is very limited. You should be joining an active guild at this level. You should be maximizing your guild participation without losing out on your farms. Join every raid and try your best. And that's extremely important because I am currently in Dragon Cakes, which is a top guild in the game. But I got kind of lucky and got in because a couple of buddies of mine were already in there and they vouched for me. And he was like, yeah, okay, fine. And so I don't really have the ability to match up with a lot of these guys because a lot of them are beta players or they're whales. And it, like med-Ah-tho, and just I'm the low man on the totem pole doing some of the lowest damage, but I get my energy every day. I participate. I'm active. So they're happy having me around. Plus I spend a little bit. So I am trying to get there as quickly as possible. And we just started raid 6, and I want to say after 2 days, we're still in phase 1. So yeah, I'm growing. And I'll be able to help out a little bit more. Unfortunately, only my Tromgar is 6-star, so he's the only one that can participate in those raids. Let's see. So you want to buy Kyra exclusively from the guild shop until she has 7 stars. If by chance you have over 1,600 currency stored, you can buy shards for another character, as that would be more than 4 purchases banked. If RNG smiles upon you and Kyra appears up 4 times in the store, you want to have or try to have enough energy to buy her all 4 times. Don't buy anybody else. Right now, I might break that rule simply because you need to worry about orcs for Soleus. So if you're trying to get Soleus, I believe Rantha shows up in the guild store. If you need her to get 5 stars for Soleus, do it. If you're trying to get to maybe 6, do it. But once you're at that base level where you go, look, I can do it at this level, I don't need anything more, then you buy Kyra 100% if you're following the demon team. Now, the flip side to that is Rantha does have quite a few farms, so again, it's kind of a toss-up. It depends on how much you really need her and how far you want to try to get in the Soleus event. So next you're going to be at level 25. This is where you have access to Arena. Arena is segregated into shards of players that started the game around the same time. Arena is seeded with bots, and some of those bots can be very challenging to pass. That's very, very true, because the Arena bots will have characters you cannot unlock yet and are not farmable in the game. And that's bad. There's no need to rush Arena buying extra attacks, as you will reach days-long walls of bots. At this point in the arena, you should be looking at Darien, Illyria, Rantha, Master Duo, and Mortha or Kagi. Your order team should be Darien, Illyria, Foul, Master Duo, and Sharp. And then your clans team should be Rantha, Adam, Kagi, Mortha, and then you probably aren't not going to have anybody else at this point because you're getting Adam and Kagi from the events, and then Mortha is such an early, easy unlock. So unless you have a 5th member unlocked, you're really not putting anybody else into the clans. During this time, you should obviously be in a guild, and for raid phase 1, you're looking at Rantha, Mortha, Foul, Master Duo, and Sharp. For phase 2, you're looking at Darien, Illyria, Foul, Master Duo, and Kagi. For raid phase 3, you're looking at Darien, Illyria, Rantha, Kagi, and Mortha. And then phase 4, you're looking at Darien, Illyria, Rantha, Master Duo, and Sharp. Now, for more details, please read the progression guide. I don't want to be, spend all day on this, obviously. And we're probably going to jump a bit to some of the more progression stuff here in a few moments. But at 25, what you should be doing is climb an arena as fast as possible. Buy Vorian the Trickster in arena until he's 6 stars. As soon as you unlock Kyra, bring her up in leveling gear parity with your main 10 heroes. Then replace Master Duo on the arena team with Kyra. When Vorian stars equal Kagi's, replace Kagi with Vorian. Let's see, you'll likely unlock Tromgar somewhere between 28 and 32. When you do, bring him online and replace Darien in the leader position. Bring Corcoran online when you unlock him as your 5th for the clans team. And Corcoran is outstanding. Do not waste extra shards getting him, unless you need him for the Soleus event, because you're going to get so many free shards of him every day. And then farm Kinley's first node daily, which is order 4-3, and when you can, his second one, clans 4-12, and then you'll be using him as soon as you unlock him. At level 35, your arena is going to look like Tromgar, Illyria, Kyra, Vorian the Trickster, Mortha, Kagi, or Rantha. Order is going to be Kinley, Illyria, Foul, Master Duo, and Little Baddie. And Little Baddie here, she's not spectacular, but you're going to get a lot of hero stones from the 3-day events. So she's going to provide you some kind of natural power there. And then clans, you're going to run Tromgar, Vorin, Mortha, Corcoran, and Kyra. I'm going to skip the raids. Go look at the guide. What you should be doing now is farming Sergeant Pigwald Heroics. He's elite in raid versus the bosses and can be a placeholder in arena. You're going to farm the tower daily as much as you can. Some days will be hard to complete, but do it. Yes, absolutely. The tower is absolutely fantastic for materials and obviously the tower currency. It really doesn't take much to get to 2,000 tower currency. It's very, very quick. And you can start focusing on Venomate and Punch Your Face out of there and Snorri out of there as much as possible. Save all currency earned in the tower for Venomate. He's a key piece of the endgame team. If you get bad shop RNG and go over 1,600 currency, start Mortha shards. As soon as he's unlocked, bring him online and replace Rantha on your arena team with Venomate. After Venomate is unlocked, scale his purchases back to 2 times per day. Spend surplus currency on Mortha until she's 5 stars. You'll need her. You'll need to use her a long time because she's really the only clan's healer, and so she's worth giving some stars. If Kinley isn't unlocked, he will be soon. Bring him online and use him in the order campaign and the raid. Continue farming him daily as he is an in-game elite character. And then Little Baddie should be unlocked and brought online and used in the order campaign in place of Sharp. So at level 40 in the arena, now you're going to start looking at Tromgar, Illyria, or Vorian, Kyra, Venomate, Sergeant Pigwald, or Vorian again. I'm going to kind of skip the order and the clans and the raids at this point, and I'm going to focus pretty much strictly on arena and what you should be doing. So Mortha should be nearing 5-star. Switch surplus tower currency to Punch Your Face. When he catches Illyria or Pigwald in power, replace one of them on your arena team. When Venomate finishes, switch primary tower farm to Punch Your Face and use surplus on Snorri. Bring Snorri online or unlock for use in campaign, later raids, and eventually arena. Now, I had unfortunately started doing this before really reading the progression guide, so I went Snorri before Venomate. I don't really regret that, but I can see why he would say do Venomate, because you're going to have Kyra, and those two together are absolutely fantastic. So at level 50, many of your farms are coming into place. In arena, you're looking at Tromgar, Kyra, Venomate, Punch Your Face, and then that 5th slot is whoever of Illyria, Vorin the Trickster, or Sergeant Pigwald. And then what you should be doing at level 50 is you should be able to farm Patriarch Key soon. He should immediately become part of your daily farm, as it will be a long farm. Level 52 is a big gear milestone as you start getting shields without getting it on runes. The farming requirements for gear is going to go up a lot, and you'll need to scale back your heroic farming to accommodate. Try to use levels 50 and 51 to get your arena team ready to go to Gear 7 immediately on reaching 52. Obviously, use the BADC.info site to find out what can be equipped in first gear slot on Gear 7 and try to farm those pieces as well for a slight arena advantage. As soon as Snorri reaches 6 stars and catches up in gear and levels, replace an optional slot, which is the Illyria Pigwald Vorian with Snorri. So at level 60, you finally reached it. At this level, your arena formation should be stable until somewhere around the 70s. You're looking at Tromgar, Snorri, Kyra, Venomate, and Puncherface. I like what he says here. You've made it! This arena composition should carry you for a few weeks. High-end arena is a DPS race. Most healers cannot keep up. Only Patriarch Key and Xantara can really contribute, so a pure damage team is ideal. What you should be doing is, as soon as Patriarch Key is unlocked, bring him online and use him in the order campaign. When Patriarch Key is available to use in your current raid level, add him with Kinley, ideally under a key lead. Push campaigns as far as you can. And then gear becomes a long farm after 60. Some characters will require equipment you cannot farm yet. It's best to scale back your refreshes to 3 times per day if you're pure free-to-play, and save Dracoins for buying equipment when you cannot get to it. And then past level 65, you begin your true in-game farms. You push for Nighteel and Xantara. Nighteel ultimately can replace Snorri. Xantara can replace Puncherface, and then work on Master Duo for use in a primarily Panda raid team. Now, I got lucky here because I got Nighteel. I got 80 shards of Nighteel in my very first 10x drop. So that felt really good. I was a little sad I did a 10x drop today. I did get an 80 shard drop. It was Eric the Shield Breaker. I guess he's okay. I haven't really looked into it a whole lot, but he's going to add to my humans team, especially with Soleus coming out soon. We'll have to see how well that works. Now, I'm not going to go over the whole list of ability priority order. Actually, we'll jump through the top 5. The top tier is Tromgar Shield of the People. You want to upgrade that as much as possible early on. Tier 2, you're looking at Kyra's Go Dark. You look at Puncherface Earthquake, Snorri's Daily Whirlwind, and Tromgar's Crushing Blow. The reason for Tromgar's Crushing Blow here is for that stun on counter. And then you've got Venomate's Poison Master. At tier 3, you've got Kyra's Arrow of Chaos, Kyra's Hail of Arrows, Puncherface's Punch, Snorri's Berserk Stance, Venomate's Witcher Poison. And then rounding out the top 4 tiers, you've got Kyra's Sudden Attack, Puncherface's Not in the Face, Snorri's Battle Leap, Tromgar's Second Wind, Tromgar's Veteran Tactician, Venomate's Poisonous Cloud, and Punchermate's Demonic Haste. Well, there you have it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the going over the Demon's progression. Hope you didn't mind I read through that too long. Again, leave your comments in the comment section below. Join my Discord server or hit me up on the DC Discord. You can even hit me on Reddit at /u/DorianBlade. And let me know what you think. Obviously, I'll probably be posting this on Reddit. So if you got from there, then you know where you can comment. I did have a couple of questions. I'm not afraid I'm not going to really get to them this week. I didn't have a chance to do a lot of research. Somebody had asked about the orc ability priorities, and I need to kind of research the orc team and determine like what the ability priority would be for them, because an orc team is really good, especially in tower. They're one of the first teams that you're going to get. They are great early to mid game. They will do some work in the raids as well. So they are extremely important, and obviously you need them for the Soleus event. And trust me, guys, from reading through his kit, which I did on episode 1, you're going to find that Soleus is truly worthy of the legendary moniker. So this is the time of the show where I let you guys know what I'm personally working on. Normally we would do the grab bag here. But unfortunately, I don't really have any questions. Sorry for that pause. I don't really have any questions. Although somebody did ask how ninja pandas hide, and I'm like, they're ninja pandas. They don't really need to hide. So that answers your question there. But if you'd like to ask a question or have your comments or anything read on the air, just let me know, and I'll do my best to accommodate that. So who am I working on? Well, I'm still working on my orcs because I want Solius, and I finally have all my orcs except for Mar to 5-star, and Traumgar is 6-star. Corcoran is very close to 6-star. I could probably push Rantha and Mortha to 6-star if I wanted to. Mar is still the one I really, really, really worry about. I had thought there might be a chance because there's still, as the time of this recording, there's still basically 2 weeks. I might be able to push Mar to 6-star, but I don't know if I'll have the gear, the levels in the gear to accomplish a 6-star event, because I think that one recommends like level 70, which is that's going to be really, really, really punching up. If it's level 60, I might maybe be able to do it. By punching up. If I can get to 52 to 55, might be able to punch those orcs up. I don't know. So those are my primary farms. Obviously, I'm farming Kin Lee, and I'm farming Patriarch Key. Actually, I have taken to farming all the heroics on Invasion, on Demon Invasion, Chapter 2, because all those heroics give blue ability scrolls, and those are the ability scrolls that are going to wind up biting you so bad. So farm Demons Demons Chapter 2, 3, 6, 9, and 12 as much as you can, because you're going to need to bankroll those blue ability materials. Other than that, I'm farming Snorri and Venomate out of the tower, as well as Puncherface. I'm doing Kyra out of the guilds. I'm currently doing Mar out of Arena. And then, that's pretty much where I'm at. And I'm just kind of, doing other heroic farms with extra energy to obviously get my 100 a day. I'm doing equipment farms as well to get these guys ready for level 50, which I'm about to hit probably the next day or so. But yeah, I'm just doing the farms for energy, which I highly recommend. If you can afford it, obviously the 3 times 50 is highly critical every day. If you spend a little bit, the 3 times 100 is going to level you up quicker, and that is going to be paramount. Just remember to stay focused. Well, guys, that's going to do it for episode 2 this week. I do want to thank you for hanging out and sticking with me through the whole show. Don't forget, if you're watching on YouTube, you can leave a comment in the section below, like and subscribe, and let your friends know if they're interested in Dragon Champions, they want to learn anything about it. I try to be as open and honest as possible. I'm not gonna cover for anybody, and I'm gonna be straight. If you guys ever listen to my Ravager Report podcast for Marvel Strike Force, you'll know I don't pull any punches. Even as an envoy over there, I'm gonna tell you straight up how I feel and what I think. I will never, ever, ever, ever lie to you or be dishonest if I can help it. Intentionally, I should say. Intentionally. As I said to start the show, if you want to chat with me, you can do so by going to my Discord server, and that is at discord.me/Dorian Blade Gaming. And I have a server there. There's some other content creators, and that is my server. That is not my Ravager Report podcast server. If you're playing in Marvel Strike Force and you'd like to hear more of me, honestly, who can blame you? You can find Ravager Report at ravagerreport.podbean.com, or you can join our Discord server there at discord.me/Ravager Report. But I try to keep the Dragon Champion stuff to my Discord, even though there is kind of a Dragon Champions channel. If you'd like to support the show, and that would be awesome, I'd love you forever for it. You can do so by going to patreon.com/Dorian Blade. I've got tiers starting, I want to say at like $1, going all the way up to $20. And I'll probably start doing some special events once we reach a threshold. Maybe do some gift card giveaways, or have some merch or something for longstanding patrons at some of the higher tier levels. If you have ideas for what to do at different patron tiers, I'd love to hear from you. I'm always open to new ideas. I'm trying not to do too much from the Ravager and duplicate too much. I kind of, this is my own separate thing. I'm also hopefully going to be releasing a new podcast series soon, also available on this channel, called Off Mic with Dorian Blade, where I'll be talking with other content creators and interviewing them. Think of the Jerry Seinfeld Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee, and it's just two content creators talking about about what we do, how we do it, and it's basically just me interviewing them. And I want to try to get content creators from different games and all walks of life. So you can now find this podcast on iTunes, and I believe it should be available on Google Play. If you like to listen through the web, and you can do so at dorianblade.podbean.com. And again, you can go to my YouTube channel and just go to YouTube and search for Dorian Blade. I have not had enough views yet to get my own channel name, so I'm not that cool. Hopefully with your guys' help, I'll get there. I do also plan at some point to produce some video content for YouTube around Dragon Champions. I already do a little bit for Strike Force. It's been a while since I've done that, but I need to get back to that. But anyway, thanks guys for listening. I really appreciate it. Until next week, happy hunting.